All rights reserved on my trademark Intelligent Sounds. And I'm going to talk about a few topics today. The first one is drug abuse. The second topic is predators. The last topic is child manipulation by situations. So, in the background, you're hearing my track that I recently produced. It should be on my single coming out, Beautiful West Side Waters. I dropped a recent single on Audio Mac, and I put some music on SoundCloud, and I'm going to put it on a bunch of other music platforms soon. Right now, I'm just kind of relaxing. I'm at 55 points right now, and almost currently about to receive my degree. I'm pretty much happy at this achievement, and I'm putting out this album, and I'm putting out this single, and I have a bunch of other projects coming through, and I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff. I'm trying to do as much as everything I can do. But yeah, let's get into this situation. So recently, drug abuse has been one of the biggest issues at the moment that has been pretty much rearing its odd behavior head, popping out of the unknowns. On all social media platforms, we have people overdosing, people making fun of people that are high on drugs, people that are using drugs, and people just pretty much laughing at them while they're getting high, like it's a joke. And we're also seeing people being taken advantage of while they're high. We're also seeing people using large amounts of, I would say, cannabis and other product drugs, which are pretty much not prohibited in certain states. I know the state that I live at right now in California, it is legal for recreational use. I said loose, recreational use. And it is loosely used here by everybody. I mean, pretty much elderly use it, young adults use it, even kids are using it. It is in every form and shape. It's sold pretty much anywhere you go to. You can go to a mom and pop stores. They'll have some type of form of marijuana, and they'll have some type of form of, I guess, hemp, or even you have the spice, which is another form of synthetic marijuana, which is really dangerous. But yeah, you even have the pop-up shops. So cannabis use is really big here in the state of California, and it's really big all over the place now because a lot of states have approved cannabis use, and in some states like the state of Oregon, they approved in Portland a lot of use of multiple drugs such as heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, fentanyl, and multiple other drugs. It's pretty much fair use in that state. In that state, you can pretty much see that there's a lot of people that are suffering right now from multiple episodes of drug overdoses. So it's crazy that this is happening in these day and ages that we're living in, and so many people are experience trauma. But also with these drugs come manipulations. Now the manipulations vary. We have some people that are using the drug, and they're being manipulated through the drug usage and addiction to provide an income to keep themselves, you know, heavily narked up. Like they needed to get high. They needed to be under the influence. They needed to pretty much feed their need. Um, they become addicts, and on a daily basis, they have to steal, rob, do everything they can possibly to get that fix, that high. And it's a ongoing thing. I know, like I stated before, on my other Rose Room discussion podcast show that I talked about drugs and the manipulation of them being used on a big scale platform, and how some entertainers promoted the drugs and how it led to other addictions in teens. Um, these drugs are now highly addictive. And when these people were using them at a certain time in our state, around early 2000, all the way up to now 2025, the addiction rate has gone up and has created such a epidemic of homelessness, mental health disorders, psychosis, and child endangerment. You know, um, most of these people were in the stores just looting. The recent case in California that happened in Southern California, where a bunch of kids went into a store and they pretty much just looted the store, crazily. And then they had another incident where a man dressed up as a actual law enforcement officer, and then to get his fix, he planned this whole thing of wearing a fake uniform. But one of the store employees contacted, um, I guess, law enforcement, because this man was saying he was confiscating some money due to some fake counterfeit bills. And they found it suspicious that he didn't have all the right materials, the right representation. So they then seen this man get into an actual shootout with the police. All this for drugs. And we have had multiple cases of people just abusing drugs. Um, Abuse is a big thing here. Drug abuse is a very economic and a very strategic situation that causes lots of problems and strain on the whole society, because addiction treatment counseling, tons of money goes into that. A lot of these people end up not even going to counseling or the treatment centers. They end up leaving within a week to go back and go get high again. I'm not sure what is in these drugs now, but I know that it's very um it's pretty much a lifestyle, and some people are suffering so bad that they can't break the addiction, and the chemicals are getting worse and worse. And not only are they getting worse, the drugs keep upgrading. Every new I guess new moon, there's a new drug that comes out. I mean, I haven't seen within this year, we have like probably in 2025 I seen what is it, four different drugs came out. We have the pink cocaine, we have the ISO, we have the crocodile, and then we have another one, another powerful drug that they're using. Um, and this drug abuse thing is like as if they just keep upgrading with new names. And it's very, I think the new one is called like Fly or something, or I don't know what it is. It's like a new drug, like a tablet or like a little, sorry, but that's not, it's not a tablet. It's like a little, sticker. And they said with this type of drug right here, you can put a little bit on yourself and pretty much almost die. The thing that's really scary is that people are willing to try these drugs just so they can almost pass away and talk about the experience. Where we pretty much allow this to be the norm, it's scary. Because as you can see, we're playing a game where it's getting really into the last quarter. We're at the fourth quarter. And if America was a team, we're losing very bad. We can't even, get on defense and stop these individuals with their offense of bringing tons and tons of just illegal narcotics to this country. It's like everybody that I know now is on some type of drug. Drug abuse is the norm now. Kids are even suffering. We have them on Ritalin and we have them on multiple other type of drugs to keep them stable. We have some kids that are hyper and we're giving them drugs in order to keep them from being too hyper. And I thought kids were supposed to have fun. Now we want our kids to be damn near high to where they're not moving around and playing like kids supposed to be because we want to be comfortable and not allow them to be a child. So drug abuse it's like a big issue and we're pretty much not able to draw up the right plays to stop on defense all the stuff that's happening. And we just keep allowing our opponent to score on us on a daily basis. You know, we don't even put up a good playbook to stop their whole process of their plays and plans that they're coming up with. So what do we do? What do we come up with? How do we stop this? How do we figure out a new way or a new method? How do we go against these situations? What is our next step? And when I say drug abuse, I'm saying that it's not only affecting adults, it is now affecting our kids. It's going so bad to where it's going to children. I'm talking about babies, newborns. They're like, these kids need drugs now. We came from the situation where everything was on lockdown and everybody had to take these little sticks or pricks into our arms and backs and shoulders and to deem us to be the normal individual that were supposed to be seemingly healthy. And if we didn't do this, we were seen as against everybody else's best wishes and we are going to put everybody in harm's way. And as we can see now, we progress and see that these things wasn't even deemed to be safe by the federal drug administration. So we're seeing even people go back and say, hey, we never signed off on this. Doctors, physicians, everyone. And and people are now going through catastrophic body problems with their immune systems over the drugs that they were given. So now we're giving them to babies. You know, what's going on? Is this going to be the norm that we're going to give it to fetus next? We're going to start giving it to, well, we're already pretty much giving it to women before pregnancy or during the pregnancy to manipulate certain things in their body. Drug abuse is big in America. America is big on drugs. Drugs are used in everything from our food, the food products, to what we consume in liquor, drinks. It's too much. And I think a lot of this has to do with the way we think now. Hypertension, a lot of people with emotional issues, and a lot of people that are harming other people, we see that their brains were on mass amounts of narcotics. Football players, for instance, some of them are involved with what you would call like head on collisions, like an impact of a semi truck hitting them, right? And in order to keep them fueled up in the game, they're giving them more drugs to numb the pain. So their neck can be damn near almost broken. But since they have to meet a certain quota of tackles in order to, they will say, hey, we'll put some steroids in your neck and then give you these drugs to numb you out. You can go out there and get two more tackles, and then, you close the year out, and then we can get you the best treatment. And, like, what is going to happen in the long run to this man's nervous system? What's going to happen to his digestive system? What's going to happen to his reproductive system? Is he going to be able to make children? Is his private areas going to swell up? Is he going to break out? Is he going to have cancer? Will he have lumps in his chest, his under his breast? They don't really care. So why is drugs such an important thing? Why are we using this as the only key to killing people? Some people say that everything that we need is naturally here. Plants are naturally here. If you look at life itself, it goes in a circulation, right? Ants eat anything that's deceased. Other bugs come in, flies, worms, maggots. It's a cycle. The body of a deceased animal then fertilizes an area for plants. The plants then get eaten by all the bugs that eat plants. Then you got herbivores come in. Then you got carnivores eat them. Then you got, so forth and so on. Then humans shoot one of these things and then they eat it and it recycles. Then you do bio waste and then so forth and so on. Everything is a natural process, right? When did we start making drugs and drug abuse the norm in America? Why is everyone so fixated on getting high? It's like every day people feel like they need to get high. I had to stop smoking marijuana because I explained to you, when you see my last Rose Room discussion, you see I chipped my tooth. I had straight, beautiful teeth, right? But I had an incident where I explained to you, I was smoking a whole full joint. I took some edibles, and I also had some what we call scissor, because I feel like, it was so free to go get it now. You know what I mean? Like the drugs were so popular. Everybody's doing it, and at this time I was doing it for a while. I was doing like I've been smoking ever since I was young, okay? And I took an on and off break every now and then, like probably a year or a year and a half off, but um it's an ongoing basis. But I was going hard. This was a daily basis. I would spend probably like $200 to $300 per week on marijuana products. I'm talking about marijuana drinks, edibles, marijuana smoke, um, the creams, all these things just to get a sensation over and over and over and over. I mean, sometimes I would be out of my mental. I would wake up in the middle of the night high off of marijuana. And the new stuff that they have is not like the older versions. This stuff is very potent, you know, and it has effects on your nervous system, your mental, psychological, euphoria. You start to then, you know, keep going on it. It's like it doesn't go away. Remember, marijuana stays in your system for 6 months after you smoke one joint. Now, just imagine if you're taking edibles, smoking a joint, drinking a liquid drink, and taking the scissor type of marijuana. You know, the 1,000 milligrams, which I have taken before. You know, it's very, very, very deep. And like I said to you, this has happened before. So I never had an accident, you know, but at that time I passed out and I fell and I woke up and I had chipped my tooth. And ever since then, you know, I was like, wow, I've never had this type of incident off of marijuana. You know what I mean? So I had to stop. I had to sit back and say, why am I doing marijuana when this stuff is so strong? It can do this to me. What am I actually, you know, getting into? Then I heard about the more of the information of how they have fentanyl that's found to marijuana now. Like some of these cannabis companies, they're not really doing the proper testing. There's a lot of chemicals in there that cause problems. I was hearing about a lot of kids that were having respiratory issues, issues with their hearts, heart murmurs, um, aneurysms, um, ammonia from the marijuana. Some of the stuff had too much chemicals. It was just so much. I was like, damn, all this. I thought, that the FAD did the research and testing on the drugs before they released them to society. But lo and behold, no, some of them don't. And this is the same thing with the Food and Drug Administration when it comes to food products. This is why in America you can get cereal, you can get drinks that have high amounts of things in them that are not good for you and your body. And then your kids consume it, and then you're wondering why your kid is wigging out in a corner and dancing for 40 hours off of music and doing these wild dances, and you can't get them to sit down. And then you want to say, you know what? Let me go get them some more drugs to make them come down. And then now they're in the corner drooling off the drugs. So where do we really find any type of normal mindset to figure out why are we doing all this? Because I don't really know what to say nowadays. I feel like I'm in a scary twilight zone. I'm looking at Africa, and I seen Africa not too long ago. They have this thing called Kush, and I'm thinking like Kush. I'm like, well, yeah, Kush coma. Here in California, Kush is one of the highest hybrids, and Kush coma is what most people want to get into here. They're literally like dodo brain. Little dodo. That's what they call people that's so off the dodo smoke. You feel me? So there they upgraded the Kush. They put not only the same amount that they put here for the marijuana, they added fentanyl in it. And this is literally knocking them out. Like they're saying that there's young men that are literally just sleeping under bridges, just smoking this stuff, and it's addictive. So what is it with these drugs? Why are drugs so important in every society? Everywhere you go to in the world now, drugs are deemed to be cool. Back in the days, people sometimes felt like being intelligent and being on point and knowing stuff and reading was the norm. Now, getting high and just being a person that's just mentally going off of drugs is the norm. So abuse is a manipulation, right? And then when you look at it, this is also used on our children. Now, kids are the most easiest targets because kids, they never want to listen to anything that's good, right, for them. You can tell kids, hey, eat your vegetables, eat your your starches, say your prayers. Kids don't want to hear that. They want to hear anything that's just going to let them just be a kid. Like hey, you got to go to sleep at 7 o'clock. Hell no, they're going to go play video games. If you tell them to go in their room, they're going to go bust out, get that cell phone and start playing on games on kids are always going to flip the script because this is just what kids do. They have um a adventurous mind. They don't never settle down because they're children. They always want to learn. They always want to know. They always want to perceive. They always want to be sneaky. They're going to be mischief. They're going to just do what a child does. Children are always, doing what they do. They don't know why. They just do it because they're a child. They make mistakes, right? But what I'm saying to you, the drugs that we have are so easy access to kids. They can go and learn about drugs because, like I said, all these kids have cell phones now. And if they see their mother have pills in the, and they know about rappers getting high, people getting high, people showing popping Molly, and their mother have the same type of pills in her, her little place in her room, and the rappers talking about it, and they have a cell phone, they want to show off and be cool and show everybody that they're cool at school. They're going to go ahead and pop these pills. And this is what makes addiction, right? So kids being easy targets, now puts them into becoming young dope fiends. So they're pretty much going to be addicts at a young age. And then their tolerance is going to get worse and worse. And then it's going to be to the point to where they're going to be doing stealing, robbing, and everything else just to get that next fix. And the fix is going to go up in dosage. And the more they go up in dosage, the more their mental, their health, everything changes. So abuse is scary. It's like we're looking at the walking dead in society. I know most of you people that's from the Bay Area have been to San Francisco. Good thing they've been cleaning up San Francisco and Oakland slowly and San Jose. But like I said, there's still a lot of people out there that need help. I wish that we would focus more on individuals here in the U.S., like in these poverty conditions, like we focus on people overseas. I see people marching and protesting for everything under the sun that's not in America, but their own brother and sister and mother and father, aunties and uncles that are living right here amongst them in these states that are addicted to drugs, that are outside. There's no protest on stopping them from doing that and helping anybody anymore. It's like they're encouraging people to get high and to become homeless. And then after that, they're telling people that, hey, they need a place to stay so that they can get more high and more people can come down there and join them. And then more people come. And then by the time we have a billion people outside just getting high with no clothes on and just living wild like we're living in the damn Mad Max and the Thunderdome. You see what I mean? Like, what are we trying to do to stop this? And everybody and their mother wants to sell drugs. Like I said to you, everything in this society is impressionable. And popularity is one of the biggest things. And drugs is the most popular thing. Whether it's legal or illegal or just to do because it creates camaraderie around people. If I smoke weed, you smoke weed, we all smoke weed. Like, when people get beers, like, oh yeah, you got a beer, I got a beer. And now everybody's sitting around drinking beer. We are all drinking beer, getting drunk and having a good time because everybody likes to drink, right? It becomes a party. The music's up, everybody's dancing. It's fun. You're feeling good. But like I said to you, this is what America culture has become. It has become a party culture. Drug abuse, alcohol addiction, drug addiction, drug usage, all these things have become the basic necessities in America. Everybody need them, and if you're not doing this drug, you got to do something else. If you're not smoking, you got to snort. If you're not snorting, then you got to shoot up. If you're not shooting up, you got to vape. If you're not vaping, you got to drop some eye drops. If you're not doing that, pop some shrooms. Everything is it's like a must. Everybody wants to be a part of something. I get it, but why is drugs such an importance in our society? Why has this become the norm? Why has this become such the great debate every year that we keep dealing with and nobody can solve it? From the president to the government to the governors to the Senate, no one. And then don't get people with drugs, with vehicles and firearms and sexual assault. And these things are all happening amongst the children. So, with that said, I want to take a quick break and I'm going to go into another topic. And that next topic is children, predators and the child's mindset that are easily manipulated by these individuals. And we're going to go into all that. But I'm going to go ahead and put on another slap, take a quick break, let you hear this, because we need to talk about it. And at the Rose Room discussion, this is what we do. All right, all right. This is MLR Rose with the Rose Room Discussion. That's a track I made recently. Beat it. Yeah. We're gonna get into this topic again. And like I said, predators. The first topic was drug abuse. And predators. Now, when we're talking about predators, there's many type of predators. They look for prey, they lie and they wait. They are good at what they do. They harness their skills over a certain amount of time. They become much more intelligent on how to get people, how to manipulate them. There's multiple different predators. And like I said, children are the easiest targets because, like I said, in this day and age, we pretty much cheer on people that are disobedient. We give the plateau to everybody that's murderers, killers, drug dealers, um, deviants, angry, hateful, that have disrespectful mannerism. Like these are the people that we cheer on in this society. We like to hear people say, "Oh, suck my balls and lick my ass," and curse out the police or get on the radio and talk about their favorite celebrity being this, and talk about each other, artists claiming to kill each other. Even comedians. It's just so bad in the society where everybody is in that mindset. Even I myself fall victim to this too. Also, I have to be very careful sometimes because people are pretty much just they're always having some type of issue, and you have to be very on guard. Recently I had an event. I went to the gym. I've been going to this gym for a year. I took a break. I was getting in good shape. I was up to like probably 200 pounds of lifting, bench pressing. I was lifting it like probably 5 times. I was trying to get back up to lifting it 10 times. I had a financial issue. My job let me go. So I couldn't pay for my, gym membership. So good thing I stayed for a year because I didn't break the contract. So I ended up leaving after a year. So then, right now I got kind of comfortable again. So I said, hey, I'm getting kind of bigger. So let me go to the gym again. So I went to the gym again. I've been going for probably like a good month now. But I noticed like they changed management, and the management is a little bit different. The first group of people were much more nicer, laid back. They always said hi to you, always had like a giggle, a laugh, a conversation. Now they have a new management, and they're pretty much just rude, super rude. I've never seen individuals like this, but I didn't want to get into any type of, you know, situation with them because I try to stay as peaceful and nonchalant and don't really want to engage with people that much. It's just that's just how I am. I like engaging with friendship and being cool with people and being cordial, but I don't like to be argumentative and have any type of problems when I know that there's no reason for one. I don't look for it. But they had a rule about backpacks, right? So the lady in there, you know, I've never been told, like I said before, I've came for a whole year, never was told. I've seen people on the floor with their backpacks. I've seen people on the floor with their duffel bags. I've seen people come from football practice, all kind of things. Basketball, people that play, just coming there, people that play tennis. I've never seen them really say anything. Like the other staff would never trip off of it. And people would go and put their stuff in the locker if they choose or choose not to, right? Nobody never really tripped. But at this time with this new staff, I guess this woman was kind of, I don't know if something was not going good that day or whatever the situation may be. I digressed on that. So, anyway, long story short, came to me, told me something. The young lady kind of did it in a way to where it was not the great mannerism of how you would, communicate with a person, and was just telling me right off the back that, hey, I can cancel your contract if you can't comply. And I was just like, excuse me? Like, like, nah, that I just think that the way you did that wasn't cool. But like I said to you, to me it was more of a predator move. Like the person watched me, singled me out. There were other people there doing it. And I kind of see like that's the same mindset that we have to watch out for when it comes to drug abuse, people selling drugs, people taking advantage of people picking and choosing who they want to attack, how they want to attack them. Like I said, remember, predators lie and wait, and they look for their certain prey, and then they find the prey that they like, and then what they do is they find a homing skill on how to get that certain subject, and then they want to attack that individual or that food source. They get some type of thrill out of it. So you have to be kind of careful when your child is out there in this world because there's people that are just tuning in so much to find someone that is unaware. They don't communicate in a proper manner. They will find ways to cause a problem. And when you're not aware of certain situations, they will find a way to then take advantage of you very quickly. And they will get away with it because, like I said, when you're homed in on your skill and you've been doing it for so long and you have gotten away with it, or you are a predator that is a vicious carnivorous predator that looks for the deer in the headlights or the bunny rabbit or the cuddly little bear, and you're looking to take advantage of the little poodle dog that you want to snatch up. And these things are not aware of who you are as a big bad lion or a wolf, or you have to be kind of careful because kids are being attacked on social media sites. They're being attacked through video games. They're being attacked through these applications where they're communicating with people. They're being attacked on a daily basis at their schools. There's people coming up there giving free samples of stuff with music. Like I said, marijuana is such the norm, and the music itself promotes a lot of the use of drugs, and popping Xannies and Mollies and getting some scissor or some smoke or just anything of that nature to get you to the next level. There's somebody out there promoting it. They want people to know that they're doing it so that way their fans can say, oh, this lady does it and she's very popular. So I'm going to try it and I'm going to vibe with that. And I need to listen to her music because she pops Zanny. So I'm going to take a Zanny and listen to her music and see how I vibrate with it. And if it's just so much psychological game out there. And some of these people that are doing this, they don't even use these drugs. They're just predators. And predators, like I said, are in different types of formats. We have child predators that look for children through drugs abuse to sexually manipulate them. We have child predators through drug abuse look to enslave children, so where they become numb to it. We have child predators with drug abuse look to sexually assault a child. We have predators that look to, you know, do multiple things with these drugs to a person's mindset to where they're not mentally able to comprehend anything. They're just pretty much lost in space. And if I was to put you as a child and you're 15 years old and I'm a 30-year-old man and I'm sexually attracted to you because I have a mental disorder and I'm not looking for no one in my own age group, and I can say, oh, I can take advantage of this little young boy. All I got to do is pop a Xanax in his drink or pop a Molly in his drink or pop a little piece of fentanyl. And now he's woozy. And now I can go and do these sexual things that I've dreamed about. And, and it doesn't make it any better that we have these type of websites that are still up. And one of the biggest websites that are still up that still sells drugs is the dark web. What is the situation? Do you see the governor or anybody looking to put a stop to that? Do you see the people that are out there protesting, looking to put a stop to that? I know it's important to protest for the war that's going on in other countries, but what about the war that's going on here with drugs, the abuse, the neglect? We just seen recently in LA, they got rid of a famous prostitution ring. Now, like I said, I don't get into knocking down people on how they hustle, but I'm saying to you, this just happened. It's real truth. I can't make a fictional story about it. They knocked down a prostitution ring where they had people that were making tons of money off of missing children. And these missing children were under the influence of drugs to keep them on the street working for 24 hours or more to make them numb. Young girls. And one of the girls, they said, excuse me, was on video getting beaten in a restaurant in front of multiple people who decided just to videotape it on their phone. Because, everything has to be caught on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, so TikTok, so forth and so on. It's important to catch that moment so you can make fun of it. And some of these little kids are not aware of the psychological. And that's another thing, with the psychological abuse comes another format of drug abuse. And predators, like I said, are also in the pharmaceutical area. Depression. They prey on a lot of these kids' depressions. A lot of these kids' depressions come from sexual abuse, drug abuse, having mental health issues, mental disorders, mental problems, sociable issues, not wanting to get out of the house a lot, fear of the world ending, fear of war. And like I said, we are here in society where we have tons of issues going on in our own country, but we are in fear of fixing them. But we're so asphyxiated on fixing stuff in places that we can't even, half of us can't even reach. And we can't even get there, don't even have the money to get there. We're willing to fight for that cause, but can't fight for the cause of your own family, your children, and the people around you to get better. This is crazy, man. This is a society we live in, and we need to get better on achieving a righteous manner of thinking. And I don't understand how this system has created predators that use these tactics to take advantage of everybody in every format. And like I said, when it comes to the dark web, one of the places that you can buy drugs on the web. You can have it ordered easily. You can pay on the dark web and a person can drop it off at your door in a box. You see what I mean? Just think about that. You telling me that law enforcement has all these different um individuals that are able to hack into scammers information and stop them, but you tell me they can't put these scammers and pay them a good $100,000 per year to help them take down all of this information off the dark web and channel and attack every group of people that are selling illegal drugs and narcotics to children? This is very deep, you know what I mean? And then you got to look at this OnlyFans thing. That's another predator to me in another way, because those are predators in another manner. We have child predators on there. Recently, I guess the little girl, I guess she's Asian American and she's mixed Caucasian to Asian American, and she was little something, um, a little kid. She just was basically always yelling and talking about she had money and making these little kid songs. I never took her really serious like that. I never paid attention to the child because I'm not a child. I'm not into child stuff because I'm not a weirdo. Um, but they said it was grown men that were pre-ordering the OnlyFans, which she had already had set up 2 years prior, before her 18th birthday, to which now she's on there showing herself naked. Now you got to really psychologically think about this. There's people that are predators that are so sick in the head, they're waiting for a little baby to mature into an adult halfway, not a full adult, a premature adult. Because I feel like people that are in their teens are premature adults. They're not real adults yet. They don't understand the fabric of certain things and the stuff that they do and the longevity of it and how it would affect them in the long run. They're at that point in time and moment, and they feel like that's do or die for them, or the world is over. Um, but yes, think about that. You have grown men that were paying money and had paid up to $1 million. This little girl had made $1 million in one day, just showing the crack of her butt crack on a OnlyFans site with grown adult men in their 50s, 60s, and damn near 70s. Were sitting there waiting for her like predators. And I'm pretty sure this young lady is probably using drugs. I'm pretty sure marijuana, mollies, fentanyl, I don't know. Xanax or whatever it is, because mostly everybody's into these type of crazy things now. And I don't know who gave her the good idea to do this, but I'm pretty sure the drugs, because living a lifestyle and in this lifestyle of getting money and being in fly cars and smoking the best weed and drinking the best alcohol and being around everybody that's popular, it's the norm now. Like I said, and predators are lurking in every format in society. And these predators are looking to take advantage of the youngest of us. They want their minds, their souls, their spirit, because they're fresh entities. Have you ever heard that news, that little thing like fresh, Subway, eat fresh. They want everything brand new, quick off the grill. Like I said, everybody's living in the microwave mindset for a microwave minute. They want everything fast. They want something new. And anything that is, brand new, you have perverts, weirdos, you have people that are lined up. I was just telling my family member about NAMBLA, the National Boy Lovers Association, and how they had a big following here in California, in San Francisco, in certain places. They had to shut them down. They had CEOs, people a part of different large companies that were in these groups that were petitioning. I know that that recently some people were caught in large stings. That guy, Sheriff Grady, the one in Florida, they had caught over like 500 or 200 and some people. And these people had good jobs. And then when you get the backstory, some of these dudes were part of that damn NAMBLA. That what's named the National Boy Lovers Association. So it lets you see how long these guys been at it. I seen one recently where a guy, they caught him twice, no, three times, three different times with a young girl online, and then the last time with a young boy. He was literally about to go ham on a young boy. He came in the house, sat down on the couch, started rubbing him. The man immediately went to take his shirt off. Like he literally was about to take the young kid's shirt off and unbutton it and just go in. But this is how much the thirst is here of peer pressure, drug abuse, and the predators that lurk in our society. And it's so bad that there's so many predators here in America. I never, when I was growing up, there was always a small amount of predators. At this point in time, it's like every damn person I look at is a damn pervert. I don't know who to trust. I don't know who to be around. I don't know who I'm talking to now. I don't even know who I'm communicating with. You know, every person I meet, I think they're a cool person, and all of a sudden I find out they have an underage baby mother, or they have had went to prison and had a relationship with a kid, or they're undercover bisexual, trans, just so like what the why all these type of things? Why is it so important to have all this going on? Is it because of the tension mindset? Is it the drug abuse? Or is it because everybody looks to have a predator mentality, whether it's the mindset of having control over their lives or other people's lives, or being able just to vibe with other people that have these same mindsets, and they feel like it's a group of a hunting pack, like a bunch of lions looking for prey. And I guess, with drugs, people fall victims. I don't know what's going to be the outcome in the future, but I think we need to fix this. But I'm hoping it doesn't get to where the damn AI or the robots deem us to be inferior and useless, because it's just getting to the point to where there's no true cap on this amount of money that's going out to create these things. And if children are already lining themselves up with using drugs, with a society that's promoting it, that has a drug abuse slogan to keep going and keep going and keep going, like the damn energizer battery, and to act like it's okay for all these dark webs and sexual sites and kids to be on OnlyFans and TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, where people are easily able to monitor them and interact with them sexually. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if there's people sitting around with hidden cameras in people's houses. I don't know if there's a predator group like Nambla who put cameras in houses of people who have young kids. You know, I don't really know. I don't even know if there's a group of people who sell their information. I recently seen the incident that happened here in California in San Bernardino. I think his name was Baby. I think Emmanuel, and how the family, you know, um, took advantage and pretty much ended the young little boy's life. And they were sitting there on the news acting like as if they were the victims. They were predators. And when we looked at the mother, she looked like a drug addict. And the father looked like a heartless being. Like he didn't have no type of care. And he was just sitting there posing and rubbing her. And she has a black eye. And I'm like, what? And my family member pointed that out. Like, look at her eye. Like he beats her up. So I said, this man probably, and in the morning light, they found out that he was the one who pretty much ended the little child's life. And they're trying to find the remains of the child. But this is how deep it has gotten. Drugs. We don't know if that family's been on drugs. We don't know if they were selling drugs. We don't know if they were selling pornography of the child. We don't know if they was in debt of something. We don't. It's just so much in this. We had an incident not too long ago. I think it was 3 years ago, with the two little boys in Bakersfield. I never heard back from that case. It was a Mexican American woman and an African American male, or a black male, that lived in California City, and they had two little boys, and somehow they claimed that these two little, I think, 5 year old and 6 year old little kids took off and walked out into the desert and never seen again. And the parents was just very strange, and and come to find out, they had an incident before that where a father had did something to the child that was mixed, and the mother was just unaware. It's just predators are everywhere around us, and they use these social media sites, this web, this society, all these things that we deem to be okay, and look at them as just the norm of being lightweight. We all come from humble beginnings. Like I said, I grew up in the inner city. The thing about it is, I never got involved with the underlife too much at all. You know what I mean? I've seen it. I was a victim of it. I had family members who dealt with it, people who were involved with it. Good thing I went the normal route. It's not saying I'm a perfect person. I'm not a perfect individual. I'm not an angel. I'm just saying that I took a better position in life. I figured out a higher vibration and didn't want to go that route because I knew in the long run I'll be destroyed if I kept that, mindset. And I looked at others around me, and they were predators, drug addicts, drug abusers, drug dealers, people with mindsets that weren't thinking properly. And I always thought to myself, why are they doing this to themselves when they can always change? And what made them just stick to that when they could do something else with their lives? And they just chose just to be a predator, and predators what happen in our little cities and towns that we lived in. I grew up in the inner city, like I said, and inner city housing. But I also lived in a house. My grandmother lived in inner city housing, so that's where I met most of my friends and where I would pretty much hang out with them. But I grew up in a house because my uncle, was a millionaire, and he bought us a house. So we lived pretty good. I just had a better upbringing, and I had both my parents. But I experienced both worlds of being in the projects and then going back to my nice, comfortable home. And some of them didn't have that thing, but I would see a lot of these dudes become predators in their own neighborhoods. And some of these dudes, the sad part about it, they came from good families, like mine's. Their families had houses. They had relatives who worked for city and county, and they still chose to sell drugs, to become a neighborhood nuisance and become a predator and attack people around them and take advantage of young girls, have them prostituting, have them out there selling their bodies. Um, this is real life situations. I'm not saying I'm against anybody. I'm just telling you this what really happens. You know, I haven't seen it where I lived in another state and I seen young boys on the corner. I've never seen this before. When I lived in Washington, in another place in Washington, there were young men on the corner. They were dressed like thugs. I thought these dudes was out there, slanging or something. They were out there slanging their bodies, and it was grown men that were Caucasian, Asian, different nationalities coming to pick these dudes up. I was like, what am I looking at? They're kissing them on the lips, and I mean, it just was a strange occurrence. And I see like, wow, there's a predatorial type of event going on everywhere. And some of these young kids were underage. They were like 15 and 16. And in order to get money, they would go outside, hang on a corner in this place of Washington State, and they would hang out like they're gangsters or something, but they weren't. They were, it's a nickname for them. They're called um homosexual thugs. They would dress with their pants sagging, tattoos, work out at the gym. They would hang on a corner, and then guys would come that were older, males, and pick them up. And I said, this is another predatorial thing. And then they had a website on the web where these dudes are on there, pretty much petitioning for a date. These are underage kids, man. So let me see that predators are everywhere lurking for children. They're watching them. They're watching women that are young. We're seeing that the young girl who pretty much got on OnlyFans, grown men were waiting to see her get naked, and they've been waiting for 2 years. I mean, this is wow. We can't come up with these things. These are actual events. But like I said, I digress. And like I said, when I was telling you about the event that happened at the workout facility where I was at, there's people that are just predators. They're looking, they're watching. They get off on this. This is what they pretty much like to do. They feel like it's a norm to cause chaos, to target people, to break people down, to see people suffer, to want to cause a person to not feel comfortable, to engage in these acts on a daily basis in any type of format. And there's predators in every format you look at. And drugs are one of their main keys, whether it be the drug of them getting a high off of disrespecting people, whether it be a drug of them getting high off of taking advantage of people or giving people drugs to make them become less of a human being spiritually and mentally to where now they can take advantage of them and use them to make an income. We remember that human trafficking is $1 billion or damn near $1 trillion a year business now. I hope you're hearing this. Human trafficking is a trillion damn near dollar business. That means kids and babies and women. And little boys are the biggest amount of people that being human trafficked and being taken advantage of on a daily basis. Like I said, here in America, where we live at, where people are so concerned about everything overseas and not concerned about nothing right here in front of them. Remember, we had the Epstein, and we had all the flight logs, but for some reason, they don't want none of those to be released. Remember all the celebrities that was on there? Nobody knows. Just like before that, we had the other individual, the what's his name? The movie star producer. I forgot his name. He's in prison right now. And we had also too recently, Mr. The lubricated 5 nights, you know. Need that go into more information, you know what I'm talking about. You Brother Love, the Love Boat, you know. We've seen all the people that engage with this man and his predatory acts, of him videotaping people, beating women damn near senseless, dragging them. And then we seen he get this woman addicted to drugs, and then she likes having this type of stuff. But then later on, she figures that now it's embarrassing because this man's going to use this to blackmail her for the rest of her life. And I know some people are saying, "Oh no, she took part of it, man. I don't feel like she was a victim or nothing like that." You got to understand, when you're a child and you meet a grown ass adult who has tons of money, that has lots of influence, that abuses drugs, that abuses you, and teaches you that being abused and abusing drugs is the norm because our society dictates that by all the stuff that we do. My brother, that's not the norm. You shouldn't be blaming a woman for that. You see what I mean? This is not a grown ass 30-something-year-old woman. This is a woman that was 19, 20, 21, 22, taking part in what a grown ass 30-year-old man that has millions of dollars is doing. And you got to understand, any young woman who doesn't come from a rich profile or a family that has tons of money is going to look at that as an opportunity. So why would you then deem her to be the devil and say, "Oh no, she took part of it, man. She had a penis in her hand." And of course, just like if you was a young boy and you had a bunch of big behind women with large breasts and you have money all around you, you want to take part of it too. Because the society promotes this type of stuff. The sad part is that you're a grown ass man older than this woman and you're taking part of putting your penis in her hands. And you should have said something like, "Hey, like my own daughter, I wouldn't do this to her." But you didn't care because you're getting money, because you're a predator and you're looking for sex. You don't give a damn. So that just lets you see people deem themselves to not be predators and they sit around looking for prey. And the lion's not going to tell you that, oh, I feel sorry for that gazelle. They're going to say, oh, no, that damn gazelle was a gazelle. He shouldn't have been walking by me. What the fuck was he walking by me for? I'm a lion. I got to eat. Of course, I understand that, sir. But at the same time, what I'm trying to state to you, this is what we have deemed to be the norm. To see a damn grown ass man wanting to be with a little 18-year-old girl. That should be something sick in your mind, sir. I don't give a damn about no kids. I don't even want to hang with these damn kids. I don't even go out to clubs. I've been got over that. At age 28, I stopped doing that. If you're still 30 and 40 something, you're still going out where the kids is at, and something's wrong with you. You should be at home relaxing, getting in good health and good shape, worrying about your body and reading the Bible or doing something else or trying to achieve something in life. Why are you hanging out with these damn kids, dancing with them and doing drugs and trying to vibe in some weird format, and you look odd looking, sir? You're a grown ass, overgrown man. But once again, this society has deemed all these things to be the norm because drug abuse is the norm in every format. I told you about that. And being a predator in a society is the norm in the United States of America. Everybody has a wolf mentality. And you don't want to be the sheep led by the wolf to go be eaten by the slaughter. Because what's going to happen is when you get into that slaughterhouse and you have to now relive that, you're going to need drugs to get you out of it. You're going to need drugs to get you to a better position. You're going to need drugs to make you forget about it. And this is why, we have to do better. There's too many people here to have knowledge and common information and intelligence to not want to do right. But how can I tell you not to do right when the first thing you do when you want to get a graduation or win something, you want to go out and go drink and go get high because everybody promotes this. And what happens? Accident. So I'm going to go to my last and final topic, and that is child manipulation by situations. Once again, I'm going to leave you with another slumper real quick. Now I'm going to get into my last and final topic. And like I said at the Rose Room discussion, we don't talk about celebrity gossip. We don't talk about females' buttocks. We don't talk about men's genitals. We don't talk about racial disposition too much. We talk about stuff that's real. I want to bring you some real information, some stuff that wakes your mind up. 'Cause I know you ain't going to get it nowhere else. So everybody got celebrity gossip. I don't give a damn about what celebrities are doing because they ain't doing nothing for me or you or anything to change the environment that we need to be changed. Because we still got tons of plastic in the damn ocean. Use your celebrity power or your star power or even your internet power to go out and get a damn boat. Do some good. You can get a whole bunch of people right now. They ain't got no jobs and pay them. We can all go pick up that damn trash out of the ocean and help them damn turtles and other life forms out. But, that's here or there. We'll see about that. All right. This is MLR Rose with the Rose Room discussion. My last and final topic is child manipulation by situations. Okay, so I told you about drug abuse and how this society uses drugs for everything. Everybody's abusing them in every format. How you look at it, whether it's coffee, insulin, cocaine, sugar, um, soda pop, food, the drug administration. We can just go on and on the list of drugs that's being used every day. You know, um, and then I told you how predators are the ones that are the pretty much gatekeepers and the watchers, and they look for people's weaknesses to take advantage of it. And they come in every form and shape, and there's predators in every format and every type of part of life looking to get someone. And children are the easiest targets. We talked about the OnlyFans, how a lot of young girls are getting on there. They have made this like the normal solution. And we talk about the self esteem, because when you're a young lady and you deem that you can't go get a normal job at McDonald's, you can't get a job at, working at a grocery store, you can't get a job at anywhere that's norm where you don't have to show your body, because that's between you and the person you fall in love with. That has nothing to do with the world, and some of these kids, you're not going to be able to bounce back from that later on. Because when you become a grandmother, like that young girl right now, the young little rapper girl who's now doing it, what are you going to tell your grandkids when other kids are wearing T-shirts of you with your butt cheeks in the air and everybody can see it, and they're coming to school like, oh, look at your grandmother's butt cheeks, and they're having a finger that's pointing at her butt, and you know, what do your grandkids got to do? They got to fight these people now. So now you have kids, and now they have to go to school fighting other kids because they have pictures of your mother's butt, and they're wearing T-shirts of it. They're making hats of it. They got social media memes of it. They're having her clap her butt cheeks of it. This is stuff that is traumatizing, and some kids will turn into drug abuse. That's why I said, like, predators will take advantage of them now, and people get taken advantage through pharmaceutical things and other things of that nature on the streets. And we have a lot of pharmaceutical people on the streets, um, and that's the addiction comes in, you know, and depression. And then, like I said, children are the easy targets because everything in a child's life is deemed to be do or die. You can see kids now, if they don't get the best shoes and everybody has a pair of those J's, I got J's on my feet, and they see a bunch of kids and everybody got the different color. They got the lime and black J's, and the person got the green and yellow. And another dude got the patent leather with the Gucci. Another one got the Goku and Dragon Ball C J's. And you come to school with some Payless shoes. You're going to be made fun of. It's going to be like the end of your life. That's going to end the child's whole life, because everybody in the damn school will laugh at you. They'll put out a even the damn teacher nowadays, like, they'll laugh at you too with your damn shoes. They'll take pictures and what are those. And it's sad that we come to this right now, that people are more into embarrassing and belittling people, and abuse is a norm, like a drug. And a drug is abuse in different manners. You know what I mean? You can abuse people by just making fun of them on a daily basis. Then you can become a predator to that person because you're always targeting them like prey. And like I said, children and manipulation by their situations are the easiest targets. A child that doesn't have money, right? He's an easy target because the children that have all the money at school, they can pick on that kid. Oh, look at his dirty ass clothes. Look at his dirty, raggedy ass pants. And then kids are heartless. And not only kids are heartless, they learn this from adults. Adults would have you picking and laughing at a person. They'll even, I seen grown adults telling their kids about certain family members and certain people, and the children and them all gather together laughing at people. So this is what you're teaching your child. So that what's going to happen when your child has to deal with that as an adult and people laughing at them? What will they do? Will they snap? If they never took this abuse, if they now become the prey instead of the predator, You see what I mean? So this society has a lot of things going on. And I'm not here to say I'm the perfect doctor of intelligence or I'm the perfect person in the society. I'm just saying that there's a lot of people out there that are 20 times smarter than me. And I just deem it to be strange that we can't find a solution for a lot of things and we have solutions for everything else in the world. We can see a damn planet 1,000 miles away. We can see an alien's uh, dick hairs from here to fucking Japan all the way to Mars, and see a damn spider on the damn Mars. And like, how are we able to see all these things, but we can't see what's going on in our own society? How is this possible? We don't see the abuse here. We don't see the children being taken advantage of, manipulated. And there's so many things that manipulate our children and manipulate the society by their situation. I try not to be heartless to people, but sometimes, there are certain situations where you have to be kind of be on your edge with people because they're predators sometimes, and sometimes they're abusing their situation amongst you, and you have to figure out how to approach things in a proper manner. Like I was telling you about the young lady at the place, I decided not to go back and forth with her because I said, you know what? I'll become like a predator. I'll become like this person. My mindset would change. And when I was looking at the person today, I was feeling a lot of nervousness. And, you know, from that person, I was like, wow, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be a predator. I don't want to target nobody. I don't want to pick on nobody. I don't want to bother nobody. I don't want to be involved with doing anything of this nature. So let me ease myself out of this and let me give it to a higher power. And I went to go sit down by an elderly man, and I just felt his energy for a moment. I said, "Wow, this guy feels relaxed. This is where I want to be, relaxed and normal and cool." You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to sit back and look at it from the outside looking in or the inside looking out. And like I said, sometimes put yourself in the shoes of these children and popularity, and remember what was popular back then and how bad you wanted it, how bad you wanted to fit in with everybody, how bad you wanted to be seen as something popular, how bad you want everybody to know that you are the coolest, smartest, charming, happiest, go lucky person in the whole bunch. And everybody needs to see your shoes. They need to see your fresh pants. They need to see your new outfit, your new coat. You need to be G'd up. Everybody, oh, look at him. Look at her hairstyle. This is what is going on. But the society, just like how they advertise food products, they take advantage of this and they advertise it to who? Who's the biggest consumers of their food products? These movies, these cartoons, these shows, this clothing, these things that are designer. Who needs it the most? The children. And they make it flashy enough for them to want it. And when they want it, they want to be a part of it because everybody else is a part of it. It's the norm. And our society in America breeds this type of mindset. Remember, the winner shoots the BB gun, the loser eats the applesauce. You can't have your cake and eat it too here. And we have to understand that in certain situations, children are pretty much the prey, and the predators are the abusers, and drugs are being used to numb them down and attack the kids in different manners or ways. And sometimes the abuse is a drug that's a high of a person having power over somebody, and it's necessarily not actually a narcotic. So we have to understand that there's different things being used to break us down in a society. And if we don't start looking at it from a real, true, a knowledgeable perspective and start really trying to fix it, we're going to be just like this damn ocean that we have. It's going to be full of garbage. So much garbage we can't even pick it up. And it's going to affect everything around us and all the life and existence. And I'm sorry to say, I don't really want it to come to this, but we may end up getting to a point to where the damn computers may have to come and set us straight. Maybe an event like that would get us back on the ball. Maybe we'll start to see what humanity is really about, and that we will deem ourselves to become much more um, on a higher vibration, and to live our lives in a proper manner, and to see that we are abusing everything around us and we're the predators with these drugs, with the drug that we have of euphoria, of just controlling and dictating and causing chaos. Because there's no animal that can cause more chaos than us on this planet. We are the most biggest, wildest predator that causes the most destruction to us and society itself and everything around us on a daily basis. We can't get out of that. And if we don't start looking at that and seeing that we are the issue and the cause, what's going to happen with the children? They're going to follow right behind us, and it's going to become the norm for them. And they're going to get worse and worse. And the next generation is going to get worse and worse. So, like I said, we have AI technology. There's no damn way any web should exist where any grown ass men should be abusing like a predator to watch children and being able to take advantage of them and drug them up and give them anything. If we have hackers, quantum technology, we have satellites that can see to a damn planet. We have all this going on. And somehow we're not using it for the right manner. But we're so concerned about every damn thing under the sun that's happening everywhere else that we can't fix. And we can't even fix our own problems here. Let's be for real with ourselves. You see what I mean? Let's stop with the BSing. You know, I'm about to turn to another age of wiseness and better decision making, and I want to be on another level. I don't want to be that older OG that's telling young kids not to smoke drugs, and I'm outside getting high as a damn kite with my pants sagging off my ass at age 40 something. And my shoes, and I got J's on my feet and a fresh chain, and you know what I mean? And I'm hanging with little kids and giving them the wrong information and being a damn predator and abusing them and teaching them how to use drugs and how to be unproductive in life and manipulating them because of their circumstances and their situations. This is a harsh environment, and we have to be aware that it's going to have some type of up and downs, but at the same time, um, we have come too far as humankind to have all these luxuries that we have in this country that we live in. It shouldn't be anybody struggling here. It shouldn't be nobody going through nothing. We have too much technology when it comes to medical and everything else. I don't know why it's being locked away, and even we have cures for certain things. I don't know what it is. Is everybody abuser or predator here? Is this the mentality that we keep going through? Is this why we keep repeating like a hamster in a damn wheel, spinning around, chasing our ass, and keep going in the same place, and it keeps getting worse and worse? And hamsters, they just get more and more fatter as they just eat them damn pellets, and they get in that little ass wheel like they really working out. Nigga's not going nowhere. He's not going anywhere. Nigga's just going in a circle faster and faster and getting fatter and fatter and getting sicker and sicker till he dies and didn't make it nowhere. This is what it is, you know. I don't want to be the one to bust your bubble, but yeah, this is the truth, man. And like I said, child manipulation by circumstances and situations is, one of the things, because children are impressionable. And if a child sees that, they get manipulated through food and drugs and music, through sexual orientation. We can see with the children being manipulated with the sexual expression. They had kids as young as 5 years old talking about they wanted to be both sexes. And these kids didn't barely know how to wipe themselves properly. And due to manipulation and the circumstances of some of these children coming from low income, they feel like, hey, they get a better opportunity of food and people would now cheer them on. And, you know, We didn't do this before. What we needed this child to change his sexuality at age 7 just so we can cheer him on every day and to give him praise. What was the family everybody else had then? What was all the people that should be doing this on a daily basis? Why do we need a child to change their sexuality and deem themselves to be something else to all of a sudden now to where we're cheering them on? Why do we need kids to look at a book that has something to do with different hormones and sexual orientations and really that's abusing their power because they're targeting someone that doesn't even have a full capacity thinking brain like a predator? So, what are we really doing here? It's really hard to say. Like the new word, like most of the young people say, don't play in my face. You know what I mean? Don't play in people's face. You know, because people nowadays will call your ass out, and I'm calling out everybody. You know, you got everybody that's smarter than me. You got bachelor's degrees, you got master's degrees, you got doctorian's degrees. Why am I the one happen to say this? You see what I mean? If you're smarter than me, you should have thought about this a long time ago. And you guys should have all had solutions to this. You seem to have a solution to everything else that's going on in other countries that you can't even fix the problems in your own household, in your own family. So what are we going to do? Because the children are the one being manipulated by everything that they're watching and seeing. They're the ones who are feeling the turmoil, the issues, the problems, the heartache, the disgust. They're the ones that's going to have to learn and deviate through this life. They're pretty much running the ball back and they're trying to return a punt. And there's many different predators out there ready to tackle them and take their ball away from them and, hopefully stop them from being a scorer, from achieving their goal or reaching that finish line or making that touchdown because that's what we're all trying to do. And we got to be the guides, you know what I mean? And if we're not playing the game in a fair manner to where we're letting everybody be successful and playing in a proper manner to where everybody gets the chance to compete properly, what are we doing? Abusing our power? Is it become a drug to abuse people? Is it become a drug to be a predator? Is it a way to set a norm for children to be manipulated and to now see that this is a successful strategy when certain people are circumstances and we can just say, hey, we can deem that to be right because that person is from this area and they have no chance anyway. You know, this is why we keep having these repeats like the hamster in a damn wheel. It keeps coming back. It never stops. First thing we got to do is get rid of these drugs. Shouldn't be any drugs anywhere to me. That's what I'm saying to you. And if it is drugs, it should be a place in the state to where people can go to that want to do it. And it's just made for that situation. And every other place can be a no-no. Look at some of these cultures. They give their children 1 year to have a party. After that, they got to either get their life together or either they can go out and live their life in destruction. See what I mean? So it's a lot to take in, but I'm saying to you, hey, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But like I said, we have some logic sense here. And we're in 2025. It's no way in heck that we should be this unaware of what's going on in our own society and don't know how to stop it. Because that's crazy work. That's unadulterated work. It's just wild. That's wild work. That's just it's untrue. You can't fathom. You can't make none of this BS up. It's really real. And I don't feel sorry for me. I feel sorry for the children because I know one day I'm going to pass away. I'm going to be good. I'm not going to live in this next time coming up with all this craziness. Because if drugs is the problem now, just imagine what's going to happen then. You're going to have children that's going to walk around. They want to be half damn lizard man and be high every day. And they want to be half giraffe people. And, what's going to be the next norm? You know what I mean? What is it going to have to be? Your baby's going to have to smoke weed. They're going to tell you to do that next. You know, it, what's going to be the norm now? They're going to make weed tablets for kids, like Flintstone vitamins. So, what's the norm next? I don't know. We don't know. But hopefully, it doesn't come down to AI correcting us and putting us into some type of matrix program to where we have to fight to get out to understand what humanity really is and why we have it. And to see that we really have everything that we need here already. And we really don't need all the BS and all the extra. And that's just causing us problems. So, we're here. You know what I mean? We're humankind. I don't know if you're a damn alien out there listening or whatever the hell you are, vampire or anything else out there, if that's what you deem to be, but I'm a human being. So, um, yeah, just want to put that out there because, some people identify as dogs now, or two people and four people, alien, I don't know. I've seen a heavy set Caucasian guy identify as a strong black woman. So I don't know what's going on with a lot of people out here. And like I said, um, drug abuse has brought a lot of psychosis, um, mental situations, and people prey on these people because it's easy money, it's an easy come up, and children's mindset being manipulated by the situations can be why most of these people exist because they were targeted. And the system that we live in is not really truly doing the greatest of work like it needs to be doing. I see that this president is trying to do what he can do, but if we keep having these type of situations where everybody's fighting amongst each other and we can't get to a common ground on everything, it's just going to be another problem a year that we had before. You see what I mean? I don't want to repeat the last 4 years because that was the worst years that I've ever seen in society. Um, and with all the homelessness and the, I don't know, zombieism that was going on, and people just running in stores and beating people down, it was really wild. It was like damn near pretty much Mad Max, you know, and a Thunderdome. So like I said, we got to get on our A game because you know what I mean. It's for the kids. It's for the kids. You know what I mean. And if you didn't get that, it's ITSZ, intelligent sounds. It's for the kids. You know what I mean? It's for the children. So once again, this is the Rose Room discussion. MLR Rose. I appreciate you. All rights reserved by Trademark Intelligent Sounds. Um, this is my show, and please, you know, think for yourself. I'm gonna leave you with one last slap that I produced, and hopefully you have a good night. 'Cause I know I am.
You're tuned in to Radio MLR with your DJ, M1 Rose the Gold.